Welcome, welcome. This is Gull, your money mindset expert, and I'm here once again with the beautiful, the charming, the amazing Melanie Falvey. Hello, Melanie.
Hello, Gull. It's so good to be back here on your podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming back, and thank you so much for joining us again. We had an amazing time speaking to you on Friday Feature, and we had to have you back from Money Talkies. And today we're talking about the 3 C's to getting a positive results from camera. So before we start that topic, please, Melanie, in your own words, tell us what it is that you do.
Okay, so I am a visibility and authority building strategist. So I help people become more confident, show up professionally, and get results from being visible. And I do that by providing a platform. Expert Channel TV is where we connect the best experts from all over the world to their right audience.
Fabulous. And this explains why we have today's topic, which is the 3 C's to getting positive results on camera. The best person to speak about it would be Melanie. So Melanie, first of all, before we go into this, why does someone or why do entrepreneurs need to be camera confident now? Can you give us a reason why?
Oh, absolutely. There is no way someone can build a business today without being seen. People are not buying what you do. They're not buying your product, your services. They're buying into you. So if they like your personality, they resonate with you, with your vibe, they will buy from you. If not, they will never buy from you. So it's not 1999. You cannot hide anymore.
Okay, and I completely agree with you, Melanie. I think if I didn't have camera, I don't think I would be able to get my message across, even though I'm more of an orator, I'm more of a speaker, hence the podcast. But I think camera is crucial and is an important element of my business, as it would be for any entrepreneur, especially if they want to be on the online space. If you are building an online product, with a lot of companies are doing, they're having even if they have an offline brick and mortar business, they do have an online presence. And if they do have an online presence, then camera is a prerequisite for them to succeed on the online space. So this really beautifully takes us into the 3 C's. So what is the first C of getting great results on camera?
So the first C would be clarity, and this is not always easy. So clarity means you need to be very clear on who you are, who you serve, and how you're going to communicate that. So be very clear, use the right words, the right messaging that's going to resonate with your ideal client. And it is a process. Not everybody gets it right the first time. Hardly anyone does. And that's why we keep tweaking our message. But, be okay with it. Anything you do in business, be flexible about it and just tweak and test and see what resonates with people. But when you have clarity and you really speak to them, that's when you'll see results. And the best thing somebody watching your videos can say to you is when they tell you, you really were speaking to me. What you said today made me cry, or you were speaking to me. That is when you know that you're doing it right.
I mean, I think that's such a crucial element for people to understand. But I think when people are first starting out, they're not sure about what the audience wants to hear, and they get muddled in the mind of who they're speaking to. And I remember hearing this phrase quite early on in my career: when you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So you have to choose your audience. So would it be right me thinking that before you start speaking on camera, you have to understand your client avatar? You need to know what the personality of your avatar is. Is that what you help your clients with then?
Yes, exactly. That would be the first stage. So you need to know exactly how you can help them. And one thing that we often make a mistake, when we're starting out, is we try to give clients what we know they need, but they have no clue they need that, because if not, they wouldn't be looking for a solution. Yeah. So we need to give them what they are asking for. But then obviously when you start working together, you are giving them everything they need. So speak to their problem, or speak to their aspirations, speak to their desires. Don't speak about what you know they need. And don't, I was making this mistake. I was all the nerdy type. So I was explaining all the psychology behind everything I was doing. And people don't really care about that.
No.
They just want the results. Okay, will you take me from A to B? Then I want to work with you as long as I resonate with you.
Yeah.
So don't overcomplicate it. And again, it's marketing. So finding clarity is marketing, but it's also about your mindset. So you need to go there. You need to go deep. You need to remove the ego. And it's not about what you want to teach or what you want to sell. It's about what the people are really craving for. And you need to give them that.
And I love that. I absolutely love that, because this is what I do in my practice. I call myself a money mindset expert. In true essence, I'm an energy healer. That's what I do. And when people come to work with me, I'm healing their energies, I'm healing their souls, I'm healing their emotional wounds. But nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to know what I'm going to do. They would just want to know, oh, you can help me make money, or you can help me get more money. Okay, like, I'll come and work with you. So you need to speak to their desires. And absolutely, when they actually come, they come to work with you, then you give them what they need. I think there's something else I learned in my marketing early on. Tell people what they want to hear, and then when they come to work with you, give them what they need. And that's how this, I think this is why this C is so important. But you need to be clear in your mind and have that distinction in your mind that, okay, my audience needs to hear this, but they actually need X, Y, and Z. And the only way they're going to work on X, Y, and Z if they have this promise of receiving what they desire and what they're saying they need, which is a perfect balance to have, and not being deceitful, but be doing it in an honest way. But if I went ahead and said, people, you're going to be really crying your eyes out, this is going to happen, and you're going to have to go through emotional turmoil, most people switch off like, no thanks, Gull, I'm okay. I'm okay where I am. I'll be fine. It's only when they sign up to the master, I'm like, dude, now you got all this to do. And they're like, huh? But the results are phenomenal, so they do it. But it really makes sense, Melanie. But most people don't understand that. They just think, well, I'm an expert, and I don't know what you, and this is what's going to help you. Listen to me, not really hearing the audience.
Exactly. And that's a big mistake. And I see it as, they think they're getting one little thing or one big thing. I mean, it depends, but you are giving them so much more.
Yeah.
So and I know that's exactly what you do, because I've worked with you. So yes, it's a money mindset thing. Yeah, but you get so much more.
That's the whole point. So you under promise and over deliver, but you over deliver for things they actually need. And then they realize, oh, actually, I didn't need that. This is what I actually needed. I desired that, but the only way I could get that was for me to work on X, Y, and Z. And that's where the positive testimonials and all the the love and the gratitude comes from. All right. So what is our second C then?
So the second C is probably the hardest. If you don't know, a little secret I'm going to share. So the second C is consistency. This is what most people struggle with. Being consistent can be so hard. And the thing is, they're probably finding it hard because they're going against their strengths and their personality. Once you know what the right consistency is for you, it becomes an easy journey. Because I think we often try to do what the big names are doing. And, we look at, probably many people know Gary Vee, and he's on video 24/7. He has a huge team behind him. He has a team that, he has a team. Exactly.
Yeah, they're with him in his meetings, when he's traveling, when he's probably when he's eating at home, everything. So 24 hours is somebody who's following around, which I find very intrusive. Like that would really bug me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but he does it and it works for him, and that's why he has so much content to put on his social media.
Exactly, but it's not just him. But as entrepreneurs, we don't have those huge teams. And even if we did, it's what you said. Do we really want that type of lifestyle? I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. No, not for a second.
I wouldn't. I want to be in control. When I'm visible, I know I'm visible and I'm in control of that. So by finding the right consistency, depending on your personality, it just becomes so much easier. So I have a free quiz, people can take it, and it lets you know how often you can be visible, you can do videos without burning out. And that way you're building a sustainable business. You're showing up in front of people on a consistent basis, which means people will see you, they'll recognize your videos, they'll get to trust you, like you, and they'll eventually want to work with you. Because what happens is we often go all in and we'll say, oh, I'm going to do a 30 day video, a video a day for 30 days. I mean, that is an absolute nightmare. Well, for introverts, that's just impossible. But even for extroverts, it can get to the point, it can be really overwhelming. Exactly. But then when people do that, because they cannot keep up with that, they just disappear for 2 months. And what happens when you disappear is that someone's going to take your place in your viewer's mind, and you're going to be forgotten. It's as easy as that. So you need to be showing up consistently, and your consistency plan will look different to mine. And maybe you can do a video a month, and that's all you can do at the beginning because your personality is ready for that. Another person might be able to do 3 videos a week, and it's okay. We're all different. But going against that is really going to make it hard. Whereas knowing the right consistency for you is going to make it a really sustainable strategy for your business.
I mean, I think this is such an important point, because I think as you are, I remember that in the Compound Effect, the book, it mentioned time and time again about the importance of doing small things consistently, because that's how the compound effect comes into play. So it's better to do small things consistently on a regular basis to build up momentum than to do great grand gesture like 30-day videos for once a month, or for 30 days once a year, than to do something for 12 months. Because if you did 30 videos over a course of 12 months, that would build up consistency and build a momentum for your business. Whereas if you do 30 videos in 1 month and then disappear for the next 11 months, you're out of mind. And exactly what you said. So this is where you have to balance that. And it's difficult, I think, Melanie, because when you first start here, you're gearing to go, you're motivated, and you want to do X, Y, and Z. And you're like, no, I can do this. And you don't actually think logically, can I sustain this long term? I remember when I was first starting out the podcast back in June last year. Well, actually, it was thought for a lot earlier, but we launched it in June of 2020. And I remember at that time, the initial plan was to release a podcast every single day. And I was like, yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. And I sat down with one of my mentors, and they said, Gull, are you going to be able to do it? I'm like, it's only half an hour, 20 minutes. I can do that. And they made me realize, okay, what if you're sick? What if this happens? What happens? And so we came to a happy compromise, rather than once a week, to doing it 3 times a week. And I can honestly tell you there have been times where 3 times a week releasing it has been a challenge. Like I've done it. We've been very consistent with the timing. It's released on 6 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. I have been very, very consistent. But then I have a team. I just record. I send it off to the team. Kieran, who's amazing down in Australia, he edits it, then everything else is done, or the graphics and everything else is done by other team members. I don't have to do anything but record. Yet it's been a challenge at times, and I get it in late, and the team's amazing, so they should do the work. So thank you, Kieran. If you are obviously you're listening, you're doing the editing for this. I have sometimes given to him like late on Sunday evening. Lucky for me, he's up in the morning, because it's up morning for him in Australia. He's able to edit and get it in. But I remember thinking, God, if I was trying to do this one a day, 7 days a week, I would have burned out ages ago. So this is where you have to rein yourself in, and you have all this excitement, and you're really gearing to go, which is great. You want to build on that momentum, but rein yourself in, because you have to think long term. You can't do something crazy for a short period and then stop. You have to do it over a longer period and then carry on. I mean, it's taken me a whole year to build the momentum, and now we've touched wood. I think at the point of this recording, this podcast, we're coming close to 150k downloads. That's phenomenal. But I remember that initially it was just like 5 downloads, 10 downloads a day, and it was really small numbers, and it took a long time for it to build up. And then obviously it becomes a snowball effect thereafter. Yeah. So I remember there's a time in November time, and I was thinking about the podcast, thinking, is it worth it? Because we were at that time still getting, about 100 downloads a day or something, which is still great, by the way. It wasn't small numbers, but I was thinking I wasn't getting the kind of numbers I do now. And I was thinking, it's taking so long. And I had to sit down with my mentor, and he had to sort of explain to me, look, Gull, it's building momentum. It will pay off, and da, 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 da. And I'm so glad I listened to him, and I didn't go down my, it's not working kind of rubbish. Because now we get that we have got days when we've got 2,000 downloads, and this is all organic without paid traffic. So it does take time, but the most important thing I want to stress here and get across is consistency. And I did this 3 episodes a week, every single week since June of 2020. And only in the last few months have we got to the 1,000 downloads a day, and 2,000 downloads every now and again. But it's taken us so long I think in my mind, but in the grand scheme of things, not really. It's only been a year, but in my mind it's been
It's amazing. It's amazing. But you're so right. It's very hard to keep going when you're not seeing the results. But that's key. That's when you have to keep going. And if your consistency plan is to do 1 podcast episode or 1 video a week, you need to keep going, even if you think nobody's watching or listening, because they are. Yeah. And that's what you need to remember. They are watching, and people are probably going to be listening to you or watching you for months, even years before they actually hire you. Yeah. And when you realize that, it's like, no, I need to show up because this person needs to listen to what I'm going to be sharing today. And also just think about, you're doing what you're doing for that one person who needs to hear your message. Don't think that you're going to reach millions. Don't have those big numbers in your mind at the beginning, because it's really hard when you don't. Yeah. When you're not seeing those huge figures and you still need to show up. You're doing it for one person, because it's, again, the compound effect. It's that one person and the other one person and the other one person.
And it does build up, because that's it through word of mouth. Most of the reason why the podcast has gone through word of mouth, they've listened, they've referred to somebody else, they mentioned somebody else, and people, someone else. I just got a review today about someone who just found it because someone else referred them, and they're like, I just fall in love with the podcast. That's how it does. Somebody refers you, somebody else they refer one other person, and it builds momentum. But you have to be consistent when you don't see that. And this is a point of the second C, which I think is crucial, because most people lose hope, lose faith, and stop showing up when they need to carry on. Yes. Instead of carrying on, they just stop.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. And that's why it's also so important to have a mentor, a guide, a coach that shows you the way, and they say, no, this is normal. This is is the normal process. You will grow, you will increase your views or your downloads. Yeah. Keep going. It's so important to have that support network.
Agreed.
Around you.
I think that's another crucial point, that you need to have a mentor for whatever area you're working on. So, for example, if someone's looking to build up the business or their online presence on videos, then they need to go to a mentor like you who can help them specifically on that area. If they're working on business, they need to go to some business a mentor who can teach them business strategies. Like the mentors I go to, not necessarily the ones who are on the podcast space, but they're business entrepreneurs who are 8 or 9 figures. So they're able to showcase me, okay, this is what you need to be in consistency wise, or whatever else. You need to go to mentors who can help you in that realm. I think a lot of the times people choose the wrong mentors too, but that's another conversation another time. But for this specific aspect, I think, you're right. You need to be consistent, but you need the support network around you through mentors, through friends, and maybe even some members of the family. But anyway, let's go to the last C. So what's the last C, Melanie? What's the third C?
So the last C is connection. And I think this makes everything just more enjoyable, but it also brings results. So when you realize, when you're aware that what you're doing is not for you and your business, that will come, but it's for the people watching or listening or reading, that's when everything changes. So I like to set an intention every time I'm going to be speaking in public. And my intention is usually along the lines of, let whoever needs to hear this today come across this video, whether it's today or in 6 months' time. And when you have the intention to build connections, to start conversations, that's when people can really resonate with you, when you're open to connect to people. Because very often when we start out, we have the expertise and we think we can, you know, help everybody because we know what we're doing, but we are creating a one-way conversation. It's not actually a conversation, it's just a one-way communication experience. We're just talking. What you need to have is feedback. You need to create that loop. You're starting relationships. You're interested in what people say, need, and that's what creates the magic. I think all of us in business have noticed that every single client we get, it's because they have been watching, listening, they resonate, they like our personality, they like, you know, they resonate with our energy, and they feel important when they're in our audience. I think that is that's key. You know, you need to make people feel special, important, and acknowledge that they are spending their time with you, with all the coaches out there, all the options they have, all the experts. They have chosen your videos, your podcast to be with you. And I think you need to acknowledge that and just be very interested in your audience, be truly interested in them, listen to them, start conversations, send them a message and say, hey, thanks for commenting on my video. Can I help you with anything? But doing it from a place of integrity, doing it because you really want to help. You're not thinking of the sale at that point. That will come, but you're not thinking about that. You're just thinking about, you know, I'm so grateful that you chose my video to watch instead of somebody else's. And I want
or Netflix, for that matter.
Exactly.
I love that, Melanie. I love that. I think this idea of building connections is something that I think a lot of people fail to do when they do come on camera. They think, okay, I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking, and when they do a recorded video, then it's probably more difficult. But on a live, I think it's a bit more easier because you get people who would turn up, but then there are people who actually watch the replay. So you can go back and respond to them individually when they do when they put down the replay or when they make comment on watching the replay. But so many people, it's such a basic thing to do, but so many people fail to understand the importance of it, because this is what's going to build the connections between you and them. I remember one of my cousins said to me, oh, how do you get the time to go back and comment, reply and respond to every single comment? I said, they've taken the time out to make a comment under my video. The least I can do is go back and say thank you or answer the question or something. And I tend to do it. I do it myself. I don't get the team members to do it because I can get my team members to go and reply back. And sometimes I think, especially when we do the workshops, we get so many comments that obviously the team members are involved and they say thank you, whatever. But if there's a question specifically geared to me, or someone said something kind, like I really enjoy this or whatever else, then I make sure that I go and I respond back to them. It doesn't matter if I get the sale out or not. It doesn't matter if they come and join the mastermind or not. The fact that they took the time out to make a lovely comment and say those nice things, you show them respect and you show gratitude for their kindness. Yes, that's I think the whole point is, you need to build those connections with those individuals. And it doesn't take, as you said, Melanie, it doesn't take very long for you to do that. It's common courtesy. If someone's made a comment, to respond back and reply back and be nice to them. And just acknowledge the fact that human beings, I mean, we're so used to seeing those numbers in number of views, 10 views, 100 views, 2,000 views or 100,000 views. But behind every single view is a person. And yes. I think in the online space, especially with kind of social media rise, we forget that every single view represents a person who's taken the time out of their life to watch your video. So you do need to be grateful about that. They can easily go to so many other options available, like you said, but they're choosing you. So therefore you need to choose them and build that connection. Yes. Not for a sale, not for, become one of my followers, but to actually say thank you for, listening to me, which is important.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Awesome. So can you give us a quick summary again of the 3 C's to getting positive results on camera?
Yes, absolutely. So the first one would be to find clarity in your message, who you're speaking to and how you're going to communicate what you do, how you help them. The second one would be consistency. find what type of consistency works for you, and, you know, make it sustainable. Don't try to do everything. And the third one would be connection. You need people in your audience, and you need the ones who are going to buy from you, but you also need the ones who will never buy from you, but are going to be loyal supporters. They're going to refer you to their friends. They're going to engage in your content. You need every single type of viewer, reader, or listener in your audience, because that's also something I didn't mention before, but I've seen entrepreneurs or marketers who make a distinction between, you know, the people who are, you know, like the warm leads and the cold leads, and this is a person who's ready to buy, and so this other person is not as interesting. I think that's a huge mistake. Treat everyone in the same way. They all, you know, deserve the same attention from you, the same respect, because
Agreed.
you never know, and you're not doing it because of what type of conversion they're bringing. They're all important within an audience.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think this brought into mind, it's a related topic, but a bit of a tangent, where I think you need to treat everyone with respect. Every kind of, whoever's viewed you, or, you know, who's actually taken the time out to watch your video or listen to your podcast or what have you, they deserve your respect, because they are taking the time out to comment or do something. I remember early on in my career, I've been blessed with really, really good mentors. Like most mentors, men and women, have been amazing. But I remember this one particular mentor, and in the sense I was on one of her courses. I wasn't, on anything else, but it was a high-end course of hers, which I paid quite a lot of money for. And I was on the courses, and it was on visibility, by the way, of all things. And I found her, if you're going to go on and become this amazing X, Y, Z, and you never know at that time. And I was a relatively newbie at the time. She felt that there's potential for you to be something, or you had connections, whatever, she was very kind to you. But if you were like me, a newbie, you know, and seemed like wasn't going to get very far, lo and behold, I surprised her. But at the time, it didn't seem like I was going to get very far. She ignored the comments or thing for me. And I remember actually tagging and asking specifically, she ignored it, and other things, and various other things happened. And what I did was, her content wasn't bad. I have to say, her content wasn't bad, but I couldn't connect it, and I couldn't receive from her content anymore. I disconnected from her. So even though the strategies she had about getting, you know, articles in Forbes and was all very, very good, I could not receive anything from that course onwards, because I completely disconnected from this lady. And so that brings me back to the comment you just made. If you distinguish between, okay, this is a warm lead that I can later on sell to, and this is someone who I'm not really bothered about, you're disconnecting from that audience, and they will disconnect from you. And then you will lose a potential sale, a potential fan, a potential referral. And this is a huge loss. So I'm so glad you brought it up, and I didn't even think of it until you mentioned it. But this is so important, that you build your foundations correctly from day one, irrespective of whether they're going to come and buy from you or not. Treat everyone with the same respect and dignity, because they are taking the time out of their life to spend some time of theirs on listening and learning from you, and treating you as a mentor, which is a place of privilege. I take that as a privilege rather than a right. So if someone's listening to me and thinks I've got something to teach them, that's a privilege that they've installed in me. That's a respect they've given to me. And so the least I can do is respect them back and acknowledge them, that they are amazing. And I'm so grateful that they chose me. But this is so important to learn early on, so they don't end up being like this mentor of mine that I won't call a mentor, but somebody whose course I did, and who I was completely disconnected from for the remainder. Actually, she switched me off written media altogether. It really put me off writing articles and whatever. And it took me a long time to get my book out, because I think it was because I was so upset with how she treated me. And I felt like, do I not mean anything? And I paid so much money.
It's terrible. But so many mentors actually teach that. Yeah. And they put audience members or followers into boxes. I think that's so wrong. And you never know how that member of your audience is going to convert. And even if they never convert, the fact that they're spending time with you is just so valuable.
Agreed.
And it should be acknowledged.
Yeah. And I think in today's day and age where 100,000 views and, you know, 1 million views are very normal, I think, you know, people forget the importance of a single view because it has a person behind it. A single, for me, even one download is important because that means one person has gone into iTunes, Spotify, one of these platforms, and has downloaded my episode so they can listen to it. And that's a person behind. So every download, there's a person behind it. And I never forget that. And I think that's what keeps me grounded, thinking, okay, I need to serve better and serve more. Okay, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. So thank you so much for such an amazing episode. I thoroughly enjoyed today's discussion. You've been amazing, Melanie. But do you have any parting comments? Do you have anything to say for the audience?
Just when you have an idea, when you think you can do something bigger than yourself, in many cases, go for it. Find the right help and don't be discouraged. It's probably not going to be easy all the time, but just do it. It's so worth it.
I love it. Just do it. And so where can we find you on the internet, Melanie? How can we connect with you?
Yeah, so you can just find me by Melanie Falvey on every social media platform or Expert Channel TV, and I'll be very happy to connect to you.
Wonderful. So if you listen to this podcast, then on the show notes, we'll have all the links for Melanie, including her website and her social media handles. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then down below in the description section, again, we'll have all Melanie's links to her website and her social media links as well. So you can go and connect to her. I absolutely encourage you to go and check her out. If you are on the online space, if you're an entrepreneur, you need videos on your side. You need to be able to not convert, but you need to converse and articulate your message very clearly on video so that you can convert your followers and views into paid customers. Because honestly, we are here for the sales in the day. If you don't make sales, you don't have a business. But that shouldn't be your end goal. It should be part of the process and should be a naturally organic process rather than be the end game. And I think Melanie is a perfect mentor to help you start your journey on the online space and in front of the camera, because if you're not in front of the camera, you're going to be out of sight, out of mind kind of a thing. So thank you so much, Melanie, for being such an amazing guest today. I had an absolutely wonderful time talking to you.
Oh, thank you, Gull. It's always a pleasure to be chatting to you and with your lovely audience. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Melanie. And thank you for listening to both myself and Melanie today on Money Talkies. I will be back on another Money Talkies segment with another amazing guest, picking their brains and working out how you and I can build a better business and bring more abundance into our lives. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.